I cannot defend all men, and I never will. And I would have never survived all of my mostly female classes going through school if I did try to defend all men. But I will defend men to a certain degree on this one,
Okay.
because the reason that we offer that help is
Uh-huh.
because why the hell else are you bringing it up? Number one. Number two is that's why we bring up problems, right? Like when
Okay.
I'm talking to my buddy, I'm going, all right, this is going on. He's all right. What you need to do is this. You need, right, this kind of screwdriver and this, you get the bolt and right. And so we're trying to help in the best way that, the only way that we know, right? You're bringing me a problem.
Yeah.
We're problem solvers, right? That's what we do, or that's what we like to think we do. Hello, I'm Courtney, and this is Janine, and we're two licensed therapists sharing the tools that we use with real-life clients. Today, we're going to be talking about the 3 H's, bids for connection, and relationship essentials, which we'll tell you about in a bit. So, Janine, let's talk about the Gottman idea of bids. Like,
Okay.
just globally, just explain like what the heck is a bid? Is that like in a card game, or what is it?
Well, in a card game, we have bids, right? We make a bid for something and we're trying to win it. We're trying to get
Oh,
it. And I
I
think
like
we're
winning.
trying to do that in relationships too. We want love, we want help, we want hugs. Yeah, I think a bid for connection is something that we do, sometimes overtly, sometimes not, right? Sometimes we say, "Hold my hand, give me a hug."
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll say, "Pay attention to me." And so that's a bid. I'm asking for
Okay.
something. But sometimes, we don't want to be that vulnerable. And so we say, "Hey, look at this thing over here."
I think we do bids on the phone too, like a share this funny thing. Like, cause I get like offended if my wife doesn't click on the link that I sent her.
Yeah, right.
So
Because it's
it's
a
that's a
bid. You
bid.
want connection.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so bids can be like a request,
Yep.
right? See, a bid could be an appreciation, right? It could be like thanks for the coffee. I appreciate you going shopping, right? Those bid seems like something that you do to try to get attention, but I know that those are bids too, that they're a way of connecting.
Hmm.
I know the reason that we wanted to talk about this today is because it's kind of like the nuts and bolts of relationships. If I could just give couples the power to engage with bids frequently, I
Hmm.
think Gottman's is somewhere couples who respond to their partner's bids 83% of the time are more likely to stay happily married.
Hmm.
So this is like day to day, minute to
Hmm.
minute. Being ignored is obviously bad, right?
Hmm.
Like my dad's hard of hearing. My wife says I am too, but I don't know. And even when he doesn't hear me, I'm like, well, he's not responding to my bid. I almost get like irritated, right?
Hmm.
Even though it's not his fault. He just
Yeah.
flat didn't hear me, or I didn't talk loud enough, one or the other. But
Yeah.
that is how visceral the not responding to bids can be. I tell couples, I tell actually just individuals when I'm talking about relationships, I'll say, you know what? The thing I see and the big reason that people get divorced, when they come in and talk, besides what we talked about last time, which was narcissism and the bipolar, right? But if I could break it down or boil it down into one thing, it's I don't feel seen, heard, known, valued, appreciated in my relationship. Right. If I was a character, it's not even so much, I mean, affairs obviously create problems, but
Mhm.
it's not typically what everybody sees. It's as their problem in the relationship. It really is these types of things that we're talking about with these bids.
Well, I think that the affairs often come from the lack of connection, a lack of bids being met. Because in all of us, I think at our core, every human wants to be loved, seen, and heard and accepted. And
Yeah.
when we're not, we will become dysregulated in one way or another. We will go and
Hmm.
look for it for somewhere else. We'll get angry and hostile. We'll stonewall and, kind of get that, not going to talk to you.
Yes.
But
Yes.
because we all I mean, really, we're all just little kids. We just put on big boy clothes and big girl clothes and, you know,
These big
do our
words.
jobs, but we're really just 5-year-olds.
We are. If you have a 2 or 3 year old and they learn how to do a somersault, right, and they come
"Look at
out to show
me.
mom or dad, and
Look at
then
me."
they do their somersault, but mom or dad looks away, they're like, "Well, I got to do it again because it doesn't exist unless it's acknowledged
Right.
by my parents."
Absolutely. And it's
So
bids for connection are important in parenting too, right? It's like Like, look at my gold star, like, see
Yeah.
it." And
Yeah.
then if the parent's like, "Yeah, that's fine." That's so much different for their attachment,
Hmm.
for their own psyche, for their own emotional development than to for the parent to go, "Oh, that's amazing. Look what you've done. You've accomplished it." Right? And then all of a sudden, I mean, can you feel I feel it in me. And because the little person, the little girl in me is connecting with a little girl over here, and
Hmm.
we're connecting in our bids, and they're gonna bid right back too.
Okay, so it's a wonderful way to nurture your relationships, to connect with your partner, to maybe even get back on track, right?
Mhm,
Because very few couples come in and say, I really want my partner to respond to my bids, right? I
mhm,
mean, that doesn't, but
right.
once you give couples the language, they start
Yeah,
using it. Like
yeah.
I was talking to a couple the other day and, somebody reached out to go there, grab the other person's hand and they said, thank you for responding to my bid. Right. I mean, it was like they started to use the technical language.
Yeah,
So we do have bids for physical touch. We have
mhm,
bids for observation when we share a link or look out a window or it was in school, it was kind of like I learned about aesthetic intimacy, right? That's so you hike up to the top of the mountain, you put your arm around each other and you look out, or you
mhm,
go to an art gallery and you appreciate, right? So just kind of sharing what you observe, it's kind of nice. You have similar interests.
mhm.
That when we make a bid, though, there's also like just kind of the basic, like what you were saying. Like I want to be connected, but we might try to use bids in a bad way too, right? Like we might like create, I don't know, it's like starting a fire in the house and go, all right, now you're paying attention, right? So if we
We
don't get
don't
what
want
we
that.
want, yeah, no fires. So, but there's always an underlying thing, right? What are they really asking for? What are they really wanting? But what they're looking for is connectedness, right? So if we feel like we get our bids rejected,
Mhm,
underneath is I just don't feel connected, valued, or seen.
mhm. That's it, and I think if you think about that, like Gottman explains it as, when someone throws you the ball, if you catch it, right? If you catch the ball, then you've connected with their bid. They wanna play, and that's all we're
Hmm.
really saying is, "Play with me. See me, hear me, play with me, let's be together." And
Hmm.
so, like, connecting is a positive touch, a positive bid would be catching the ball when it's thrown to you. And then
Okay.
there's, dropping the ball. Dropping the ball is like you're not turning against, but you're turning away. You're not gonna play. Like someone saying, "Play with me," and you're like, no thanks."
If I just don't respond or answer, or maybe I have my headphones on,
Right.
right?
Yeah, it can be any of those things, but when the person that made the bid feels unseen and unheard, they don't feel like you accepted the bid and are reciprocating, you're not connecting, right?
Hmm.
Then it's like dropping the ball and walking away. And then the
Okay.
third way to deal with a bid is to take the ball and throw it back at their face, right?
Like in a bean way,
Yeah, in a mean way.
I'll pay attention to you now.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah,
Mhm.
so there's, like, 3 ways to deal with bids, right? One is you catch it, and then you play with them, or you
Uh-huh.
drop it, walk away, or you turn against them and turn it into something like, "You're always needing attention. What's your problem?" That kinda thing.
Ah, it's always about you, right? You're so
Ye
narcissistic, right?
Right, yeah.
And so when I think about that, like like bids for attention or bids for connection, I guess,
Mhm.
um, they're not always self-serving, right? I mean, because we therapists, we talk about, there's the one partner, the other partner, and then there's this third thing we call the relationship, right? This like I had a
Yeah,
client go into deep detail with me, like, what is this thing that you're talking about with the relationship? But the
yeah.
best thing I could come up with was it's kind of like a team, right? Like if I'm a batter on a baseball team and I hit a fly ball out to center field and the guy catches it, but we have our runner score from third. Well, I'm
Mhm.
disappointed because I didn't get what I want. I didn't get a hit, but the team, we got to run, right? And so everybody
Oh, I like that.
celebrates me when I come back, right? So it's something good for the team, right?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a bid for individual attention, like with a child, but
Mhm.
maybe it's, you know what, our relationship hasn't been nurtured, right?
Yeah.
In whatever way.
Word picture. Yeah, absolutely, it's team.
Maybe selfless towards the relationship. Okay, you mentioned play. So if we're going through them, it would be shared observations, physical affection.
Mhm.
Then there's also playfulness or humor, right,
Mhm.
which is essential. I don't know. Like, I have a a kind of just a question that I ask to couples, kind of assessing their play. But do you assess that when you work with clients? Is that kind of an indicator for you about their ability to play together?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I often will ask, like, "Can you do vacation and still laugh together? If you go
Hmm.
out of the house, do you still have fun?"
Hmm.
And that kinda helps us know, like, what are we doing? Are we trying to uncouple, amicably here? Are we trying to fix something? I kinda
Hmm.
wanna know what we're doing. Where are we headed?
Hmm.
Why are you in couples counseling? So, do you have fun together, outside the house? Do you like each other? What is it that you want? It's very much about play. I would say for me, like, personally, I don't always do that well because my husband is so much more playful than I am. I'm so much more cerebral and academic in a lot of ways. Trying to be more playful and working on it, but he will do funny things all the time and turn everything into a joke. And I will sometimes roll my eyes, and kind of walk away from it. And that's kind of, I don't know, coming up for me right now as we're talking about this is like, I need to do
You're
better
dropping
at,
the ball.
I'm dropping the ball a bit. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Because he's wanting to play. And
Hmm.
sometimes I'm just like, I'm tired. I don't want to play right now.
Well, that was, I don't know if we were talking about it last time or just off mic. Play is voluntary, right? You can't drag
Mhm.
someone into playing.
No, no.
So I said the other day, I feel so old. I said the other day, that's the canary in the coal mine. And they're like, what?
What's that?
Right. I know. I'm trying to think of what another analogy, but it's the warning sign, right? When you lose the play, you also probably lost safety. You might feel judged or not accepted, right?
Yeah,
And so the play is like, let's just be able to have fun and be free and not kind of worry or be so grounded in, the serious business of the day,
yeah.
right? Okay. So definitely help and support, right? I mean, it's funny. You can almost tie all these examples of bids into the five love languages, right? Because a bid for help or support, right? That would be acts of service, right?
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, like the more linear, the more logical person, the one who sees all of the broken things or the things that need to be cleaned up, or maybe the task person in the relationship is going to be more attuned to what needs to be happening and asking, kind of generating
Right.
the bid for help or support.
And that brings
So
up a really interesting point for me in thinking about some of my clients that we can do a bid poorly, right? And we have to be careful of that because not all bids are equal. And so when we
it's
are
true.
saying, "Hey, you're such a lazy slob, why didn't you take the trash out?" That might be a bid, probably not done in the best way.
It's a bid for physical conflict.
But I mean, I think it's important, like,
Yeah.
because we're all children, really, right? Like, we're not gonna always do it well, especially if we're feeling frustrated or hangry or
Mhm.
tired or if the trash is really smelly, like, right? We're not gonna
Yeah.
always do it well, but I think that's a big point too. It's like you can't just say like, "Oh, I made a bid," and you need to catch it.
Yeah.
We need to pay attention to how we do it and when. And we need
Mhm.
to pay attention to the other person and what their needs are as well. And I think that's a big part of this too. Yes, we have to know what bids are. We have to know when they're going on and how to respond to them. But we have to know how to also give a bid and do it in a way, if my husband, when the kids were little and he would come in from work and we have different energies at that point. He's tired for one reason doing labor all day and I'm tired for another reason, right? And
Mhm.
I'm like, "Okay, this is broken, that's broken, this needs to be fixed, your kid needs to be talked to." And I do it all as he walks in the door. Probably not the best way to give a bid. Maybe let him take his shoes off and maybe let him get a drink of water. Like, I had to learn that the hard way, because I was just like, "Here's all the things that I've been compiling all day. Get them done. Help me, help me, help me." I
Well,
was
I mean,
begging.
if your husband is a clown and he works in the circus, maybe he could juggle all those balls that you throw at him.
Right.
But it would take quite a talent to catch those four or five and keep them in the air because
Yeah,
they're just going to bounce, right? They're going to
yeah,
hit the curtain and bounce off. Um,
yeah.
so bids for conversation. I've run into this a lot with clients, right?
Mhm,
They Okay. I'll be so a bid for conversation, bid for, connection in that way, validation maybe.
mhm.
And so but that's what I think like couples eventually lose because like I mean, I don't know how many couples you talk to, about this, but it's like when the kids show up, right? When we have kids, then we kind of lost track of our relationship, and we, started prioritizing everything and we kind of lost each other, right? We lost that playful maybe side. We lost
Mm,
the part that cares about
mhm.
what you're talking about just because it's happening to you.
Yeah, I can see that. Another thing with conversations I see a lot is that when there's a bid for conversation from a woman typically, not
Hmm.
always, but typically I would say,
Generally.
is she's wanting to vent and she's mostly wanting her partner to say, "Ah, that sucks. That's terrible." And then she wants to move on, right? But
Hmm.
a lot of times the husband will go, "Oh, well, I can fix that for you. Let me fix it." And so now she's feeling invalidated and she's feeling belittled because she's a grown ass woman and she can take care of her own problems. But it's not clear what the bid was for. Was the bid for fixing? Or was the bid for just see me and tell me that I'm not crazy because this really hard thing happened and I just want you to say like, yeah, that totally sucks. That's normally what I need.
Yeah, yeah, that I cannot defend all men, and I never will. And I would have never survived all of my mostly female classes going through school if I did try to defend all men. But I will defend men to a certain degree on this one,
Okay.
because the reason that we offer that help is
Uh-huh.
because why the hell else are you bringing it up? Number one. Number two is that's why we bring up problems, right? Like when
Okay.
I'm talking to my buddy, I'm going, all right, this is going on. He's all right. What you need to do is this. You need, right, this kind of screwdriver and this, you get the bolt and whatever, right? And so we're trying to help in the best way the only way that we know, right? You're bringing me a problem.
Yeah.
We're problem solvers, right? That's what we do, or that's what we like to think we do. And so it's an attempt to catch and throw the ball back,
Right.
but it feels like I just threw it at your face, right? It's like if I just try to
But that's how it feels on
help.
this side of it. So, yeah, I mean, there's no nefariousness to it with men. I think they're trying their best to throw the ball back into play.
Mhm.
I just think that sometimes what I see and what I felt myself is, I don't need you to fix this for me. Actually, what I just need for you to look at me and say, "Hey, you're doing a great job and yeah, that sucks. Your boss is mean." And then I'm like, "Okay, that's all I needed."
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, now that brings up a thing that I ran across. It's not even therapeutic, but I'm sure we learned this type of thing in school. I call it the three H's,
Okay.
right? So when we're talking to a partner, this goes both sides, right? Do you want to be heard, helped, or hugged,
Mhm.
right? So now you talked about almost all of them there in your description, and I oftentimes have to sit and listen a lot before I'm like, okay, am I supposed to be hearing,
Mhm.
helping, or hugging? Hugging is just the nurturing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that sucks, right? Like you were saying.
That is a perfectly valid hug.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sucks.
That's I'm sorry you're going through that. That is
Yeah.
what I like, that's really terrible. Right. And even when I'm 80% sincere, we'll say, it works. Right. I mean, because like, well, most of the time, so many words are said. I'm listening for like, all right, what's the problem I'm solving, or what's the emotion that I'm responding to, or what is it just that I just need to hear? Right? Is it just like, okay, wow, yeah, that was a lot, I'll bet. Right. Ooh. Right. And you do all those wonderful, I got you, I hear you, I know what I'm tracking with you. I'm not looking at
Yeah.
my phone. I'm actually paying attention. I know what you're saying. Right. So they know that you're
Yeah.
with them.
Sounds like a
So heard,
conversation is a lot
helped,
of work for
hugged.
you.
Well, it is because yes, because well, one, I'm ADHD, so I want to be thinking about something else. And also, and I say this
Mhm.
all the time is my wife will walk in the room and start talking. And I say,
Mhm.
but you're interrupting. She's like, you're not even doing anything. I'm like, but there's a lot going on in here. Right. So I have to maybe let all the snow settle in my snow globe brain so that I can
Sure.
make room to listen. Right. I mean, that's
Mhm.
why I do the therapy, is because, I mean, there's nothing else going on. It's one-on-one. I got no agenda for myself. I'm
Right.
really, tuned into the client. But that's not always true at home, right? Because
Right.
I got headspace and things I'm thinking about and sorting through. So yeah,
Sure.
it's work for me,
Yeah.
So it's come easy for you apparently.
Well, I don't think it's easy. I'm just saying it sounds like a lot of work, and, I don't always do it well, but I would love it if my husband just said, "Hey, do you want help fixing that?"
Yeah, there you go.
And then for me just to go, "No, not really, I'll figure it out. I just kinda pissed off about it right now and wanted to
Yeah,
vent it to someone that will hold
yeah,
it." And so I
yeah,
just really wanted mostly just a hug, right? Pay
yeah,
attention to me. That's all
yeah.
I wanted. Um,
You know, that's what it's close to the phrase that I say, which is, I don't know. I think GPS and this phrase, "save my marriage," is, "What do you need? How can I help?" Right? It's like you just want to know what's going on. You want me to
mhm,
know that that person's a jerk and they treated you badly, and the
yeah,
people who are doing the construction and the detours are idiots. Okay, I get you.
yeah,
Yeah, that sucks. So it just
mhm,
really got in the way of your day, right? So
yeah,
something, I mean, it is reflecting, mirroring, but I think the big thing is just understanding what type of bid you're entertaining, right? Like
right,
how do I catch this bid and throw it back to you to let you know
mhm.
I'm in the game?
And do we feel safe enough, and do we provide enough safety so that we can ask those questions and answer them honestly? You know, like, "Hey, I really am just needing a hug right now," or
Mhm.
"I really do need some help on this," but that takes vulnerability, and so that's something that I'm always assessing and looking at in my clients. How vulnerable can you be with each other? And Gottman calls it, turning towards, turning away, or turning against. But I think that's
Mhm.
a very literal thing too. Can you turn towards when someone says, "Hey, look at this thing over here"? Do you turn, focus, and attune yourself to them? Do you go, "Oh,
Yeah.
tell me about that. What is it?" Like, "Oh,
Right.
there's something outside that's cool. That's cool." Right? And then that's all that's needed for a bid to be successful. So when you talked about like the 86% of positive bids, alls we really need to do is go, "Oh, yeah, I see it, cool," and move on
Yeah.
with your day. And
Right.
that's a positive one, right? That's
Mhm.
one towards the on the good checklist.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we got bids. We got the three H's. They're all intertwined.
Yeah,
One of the essentials that I feel like, again, if I could just give to couples, and I picked this up somewhere. I mean, because everything, I'll just take credit for it after a while,
okay,
becomes mine. Is that I recommend to couples, and they usually balk, 2 dates a week, right?
okay,
And so it's just, and I introduce it with the idea that this is just a classic. I mean, couples therapist says this intervention. You need to spend more time together to have 2 dates a week, right? Or a date a month, or how often. So the the 2 dates that I'm talking about don't require that you leave the house. They don't require that you even go out, although going out is nice. That's
mhm,
the other thing that I hear a lot of time from couples. It's like,
yeah,
I wish he'd plan a date, right? Just
right,
something to make me know that he's thinking about me and he wants me to, wants to spend time with me. So
yeah,
they can be outside the house, but for my purposes, it's like one is a kind of a business meeting, right? Like who's cooking, who's picking up the kids, what are we doing this weekend, where are we going, right? So it's just kind of like touching base on the business of the house.
sure,
And the other one is kind of a check-in. It's just like, how are we? What's going on with you? It's just a special time that if you didn't connect throughout the week, that you have this time and this date
yeah,
that you're gonna connect. And obviously we have that undivided attention, and I think that is essential to, it's a minimum really of
mhm,
being able to nurture the relationship and give that time and attention. And it's a formal bid plan, so I think that's essential for every
mhm.
couple if they're going to maintain their relationship.
The one that I heard, which I thought was interesting, is that you do 1 date a week, you do 1 two-day weekend getaway every quarter of the year, and then 1 big trip. And
Mhm.
so when those things are on the books, then it's kind of exciting because that playful part gets to, like, schedule, make plans, where are we gonna go, what are we gonna do,
Mhm.
how much are we gonna spend, and it kinda gets us to that place of doing all those things together. I kinda liked that idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a simple date a week to do those things, so
Yeah,
2 dates. I
I'm
like
glad
it.
you said together, because in my mind I was going, all right, where's she going to go? Right. I know I'm getting away, and
We're talking
you
about
know,
couple stuff.
oh, together. But it's good for, you know what? Time apart is good for couples too, right?
Oh,
Although,
absolutely,
uh,
100%. I just didn't think
yeah,
we were yeah,
you
totally.
kind of go with, you could either go like absence makes the heart grow fonder,
Mhm.
or out of sight, out of mind. I don't know which one, right? Well, I guess we'll
Yeah, I don't
find
know.
out if you're no, but
Right.
does I think that's a great idea, right? Because you are prioritizing the relationship, and that's one of the things that I see over and over is it is like the relationship is in motion or it's a boat or something and it just drifts away, right? We
Mhm.
still live in the same house, but our relationship has gone by the by, right? Because we just kind of almost like take it for granted because we're living in the same house that we're spending time together. And maybe we're spending time together, but it's not enjoyable time, right? It's no bids, no play, no,
Mhm.
connection, no laughter.
Mhm. Yeah, well, you talked about it as a team, and I think sometimes we do take the teammate for granted. Um,
Mhm.
I think especially when the kids are little, and really it's just a lot of a business transaction. Like we both
Yeah.
love these humans we made, so what do we have to do? All right,
Yeah.
let's do that. Okay, let's do that. Let's go. Right? It's like almost high-fiving down the hall and saying, "Okay, you got this, I got that. Let's go." It kind of loses some of the play because we're just doing the adulting. And all of our nurturing is going to our kids. And so I think we can miss it a little bit if we don't have a scheduled plan. Some of my clients don't like the idea of scheduling sex, but I think sometimes, like, why not? Like, if it you're not gonna be having it, but you both want it, like,
Right.
put it on the schedule. Like,
Right.
block
Right.
that time out for each other, you know?
Mhm. Well, and even if the thing I like about the schedule, even though I agree that couples just generally don't like it, they have this idea that they
Mhm.
should just all of a sudden both feel it exactly at the same time and then,
Yeah,
jump in the back seat of the car because now's the time,
right.
right? It's like just so spontaneous and, just
With all the
rushing.
Cheerios and the drool in the back seat, like, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, and good luck, right? Because I think most of us are trying when you have little ones, especially, you're just trying to get to the finish line, right? When can I lay down and the kids are not bothering me?
Yeah,
Other than that, I'm not thinking about anything else. Well, maybe as a guy I am, but a lot
yeah.
of times not, right?
I think
So,
we both
but
are.
even if you put it on the schedule, you can
Mhm,
go maybe not tonight, but tomorrow, right? At least it's
mhm.
in the conversation, and I think that's part of the key for us is like we just want couples to keep the conversation going because we know how valuable that
Right.
communication, that sex is. It's not
Yeah.
just the physical connection; it's so much more in the relationship.
Yeah, there is something spiritual about sex, I think, that it
Hmm.
transcends the biological, the psychological, the emotional, all of it. For sure. I don't know how many times you say this, but it seems like I say this a lot to my couples. It's like, yeah, it's not a life isn't a rom-com. Like it's sex isn't just gonna happen when it happens. You have to do some kind of talking, planning, preparing.
Hmm.
Um, I like what you said. God, I don't remember how long ago it was, but you said that foreplay starts the minute after sex is over, right? So
Oh yeah.
it's all the things. It's doing the dishes, helping with the dishes, helping with whatever, and it's like that's the foreplay too, but we have to have the conversation about sex and be open and vulnerable to the idea of it, or it just will get put on the back burner for our careers, for our kids, for whatever else we're doing, but there's something spiritual, I think, about it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably have more than one episode about sex and the importance of it and the value. It's fun, right? So it's we know some of the value, right?
Yeah,
But there's
right.
so much more to it. But I'll end with my favorite stat being a 34-year that when they do research of couples and their sexual frequency and enjoyment, what they find consistently is that the couples who have the most sex and the most enjoyable sex are long-term married religious couples, more than their younger counterparts, which you don't think about. Yeah. Yeah. You don't think about it. You certainly don't want to picture it, but it's true.
Oh, mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, true.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have today. So we've reached our 50 minutes. You can pay on your way out,
Yeah,
whoever you are. And
mhm.
we will see you again.
Okay, sounds good.